All right, Tyler Gray back again. I'm going to talk to you about holsters. So starting with the 43. So you saw that I run 2 different pistols, or have the option of actually technically 4 pistols, and I have corresponding holsters to each one. They're all kind of in my in a certain place that I can just grab, and I know what I'm getting each time. So holster wise, if I'm going with the quote daytime 43, I run a simple inside the waistband holster, nothing crazy, pretty slim. And I'll talk about the different attachment points to your belt in a second, but it's a pretty simple holster. If I'm running something like where it gets a little bit more complicated, when I'm running something with the light on it, now I'm grabbing a more complicated holster. This one right here is made by High Threat Concealment. It's a great holster that takes that light perfectly. All right, so now on to holsters for the Glock 19. This one right here, again, if I'm running a no light, just standard on the Glock 19, I've got this one right here. I've got a million holsters. I'm going to go over different ones later. I've also got one very similar. This is a Blade Tech with the soft loops. Again, there's a million options out there. Far as the Glock 19 with the XC1 from Surefire, well, back to High Threat Concealment, that made me one that fits that very solidly. And again, actually, OTG made me one as well, that fits it very well. This clip specifically from High Threat Concealment, this is a great clip, really hooks on the belt, and I really dig it. I've had great luck with it. So I'm going to go over some holsters here now, a bunch of different holster options. If there's a holster out there, more than likely I've tried it, and I'll kind of give you my feedback on different holsters. All right, so talking about holsters in general, this is what I do. I got a bag. This thing probably has about 12 different holsters in it, and I'll pull some of them out. This is for the Glock 19, and this is for the 43. Now again, why do I have so many holsters? Because each holster is built essentially for a specific need. So depending on my specific need, or specifically what I'm wearing, I have a holster to do that. Just some options that I'm going to bust out here is a DeSantis Scorpion, which is essentially all my holsters that I've showed you so far are inside the waistband. This is just the first one I grab. This happens to be it's for my 19. It's a Kydex that's outside the waistband. Why would I wear that? If I'm running, let's say I'm doing an EP job and I'm wearing a suit, then I'm wearing it outside the waistband, but it's covered by the suit. That could also make sense in the context if you live in colder climates and you want to carry it with a coat. The reason I wear inside the waistband 98% of the time is because I live in a hot climate, and this is pretty much exactly what I wear every day. So I'm running it inside the waistband with essentially a t-shirt over it. So just pulling in my bag of tricks here. Another one I'm gonna pull out is kind of an offset appendix style carry holster. I'm not a big appendix carry style guy. I'll do an entire video on that later to explain the pros and cons. Again, it's just not me, but I can talk about the pros and cons on why I don't appendix carry. But I do have a holster for it because you never know. Right here, I've got a leather holster outside the waistband. Again, I love me some Kydex, but sometimes you need to go old school. So essentially in this little bag of holsters is pretty much every option that I could ever need to run either gun in either setup. Outside the waistband, single mag for Glock 43. Why? Because why not? At the end of the day, gear provides options. And if you don't have the right gear, then you don't have the ability to utilize that option. So by having all this stuff in an organized area, it allows me to pick and choose based on need. So again, I primarily run inside the waistband. One thing I'll talk about right now is the difference between the clip and soft loops, and there's, you know, probably 100 different versions of that. There's nylon loops, there's these rubber loops, there's these clips, there's softer clips, blah, blah, blah. I can go on and on. At the end of the day, it comes down to personal preference. I'll talk about printing in a video here I'm going to do in a minute, but at the end of the day, it comes down to personal preference. And when I talk about printing, I'll explain why I believe that your attachment method is more based on personal preference rather than printing.